Young Turks, brought to you by Titan Xylus, the power of X. And HCL, our numbers do the talking.
Hello and welcome to Young Turks, the show that puts the spotlight on two young Indian achievers every single week and takes you through their journey to success. I'm Shireen Bhan and joining me on the show is Anita Balagopalan. Hi Anita.
Hi Shireen, this week we're in Hyderabad with a lady who helps students who believe they can fly. Find out more about Captain Mamta later on the show. For now, it's back to Shireen.
She's got the spirit and enthusiasm of a teenager, but she knows how to do business and she plays hardball. She joined Tata Consultancy Services 8 years ago and will now be moving to Manhattan to look after their global accounts. Let's catch up with Farzana Haque on Young Turks today. Fresh and energetic like the rising sun. Steady and bold like the monument she loves. Farzana Haque is like a breath of fresh air, idealistic and brimming with quiet confidence. In a short span of 8 years, she's taken big strides to realize her dream. A graduate in astrophysics from ISRO, her initiation into the world of technology was by chance. At 21, she joined Tata Consultancy Services and climbed the corporate ladder from a management trainee to a member of TCS's US-based e-business project. She's now the Global Relationship Director at TCS. She's off to the US and is committed to double TCS's US revenues.
I had never worked before. This is right after school. I just performed. I was given objectives to cover under a period of time and I just worked. And at no point during my entire 8-year tenure with them have I ever felt like I have done a job or I have worked.
Well, tell us, what was the strategy behind you actually doing astrophysics at ISRO? Because not a lot of people actually do that.
After I finished my graduation, I said, NASA jana hai. Ab NASA kaise jate hain? So I did a little bit of research. So I was like, okay, I must go to NASA. That was my objective, to get to NASA. But I think life had different plans. So while I finished masters, I joined TCS. I thought, okay, I will work for 2-3 years. I'll get more mature. I'll be 24 or something of that sort. And then I'll go back to NASA.
Well, speaking of your experience at TCS, you've just moved back to India. Yes. You've been in New York, you've been in London, overseeing the global practice and so on and so forth. What was that experience like for you? And did you not want to stay on and work at the financial hub, which was New York, or work in London? Why the decision to come back to India?
The decision was, the timing was very right. After I joined my company for 7 years, I was out of home. And I think the daughter in me also wanted to be back home. Second, TCS was going public. I had a corporate role to play in that. And when I suggested this to my seniors, it's like the alchemist, all things fell in place. Why don't you come back for a year? Why don't you spend some time back at corporate? So I came back, and the original idea was a year and a half or 2 years till, post the IPO. Then I was looking at some West Coast accounts based out of India, responsible for that business, and post-acquisition integration. Because in the last year and a half that I've been here, the company as such has been on an acquisition spree. So I have also played my tiny incremental role in that entire process. So it's been brilliant, both professionally and personally.
But there's another side of you, apart from the corporate negotiating, hardball playing, Farzana.
Hardcore business woman. You must ask my clients. They go back to my boss and say, anyone but Farzana. She puts a deal, and it is so difficult to negotiate and say, because she also puts a win-win deal on table. Yeah. So you can't even say, we'll get back to you on this. Okay. So they unleash me, as my company says, we unleash you on customers.
As a deal clincher. What happens now? Because you're moving back to New York and you're going to be looking after TCS's global business. What's the corporate strategy? And we've talked about what else you're doing, but what's the corporate strategy for you?
I'm a part of a large team that is based out of North America. I would be based out of Manhattan and looking after a certain vertical or a certain practice on the Eastern or North America. And I carry a large target, double, triple digit range USD, and I need to perform. It's
And what's the timeline that you have for delivery?
this is a yearly target. This is a yearly target, and I would be responsible for revenue out of the region.
A Muslim by birth but a global citizen, Farzana was always a believer of interfaith unity. But post 9/11, her belief has turned into a campaign. An active member of the Interfaith Unity UN Forum in New York, Farzana has been speaking at public forums to build bridges between different communities. And she practices what she preaches, so you will catch her doing the rounds of a church, a gurdwara or a mosque whenever she finds time.
Post 9/11, our office used to be right bang in the adjoining building, adjoining lane to World Trade Center. The havoc that it created on women it was difficult to go out even in a safe city like New York in the subway, because people would look at you, where you were afraid to mention your name lest you get
Labeled and identified.
So along with a few cousins, along with a few friends in the city, we started the Interfaith Forum, Unity Forum at the UN. Imam Faisal is quite a known name. He, along with a lot of bishops, and he works very closely with the Vatican to promote the interfaith concept. So we would do a huge amount of public speaking. My family was initially a little scared because you're out there, you're on the forum. Suddenly it gave me a sense of a bigger picture in life, but doing that very small, incremental, and believe me, at that point I had no big thought of saying I am going to defend Islam or Indians or Asians. And that time you were Asian, you were not an Indian or a Pakistani or a Bangladeshi or any of those things. You're Asian, and you're from third world countries, and you incidentally happen to be following the faith that was in question at that point. So getting the moderate voices across all faith. So whether I would be talking to friends who were Jews or friends who were Hindus, even when the incidents in India happened, you're still sponged off that to a large extent, because your family or the society you move in does not magnify that. But when you're in New York, you're in 9/11, I think I felt what a victim of Gujarat must have felt.
Do business that makes a difference. Farzana has imbibed the Tata philosophy. She believes in giving back to society and is working to promote education, women's empowerment and AIDS awareness. She supports non-profit organizations like the GIVE Foundation and the AIF Foundation. From cutting deals in the boardroom to lending a helping hand, this young Turk is brave enough to look beyond the bottom line.
Now you can take on larger responsibility, because over the last 7-8 years you have matured in handling doubt that others would have of you rather than you have of yourself.
So you're a more self-assured, confident Farzana.
I think the assurance or the confidence was not lacking. It was just the perception to convince people that we do serious business. You as an individual, the company as such, and India as a country. So now, now it's, I think, a little later in the game to say this story, but now it's like everyone assumes India, technology, Tata and TCS, you don't even have to sell. You just sit there. You don't have to sell anymore. You don't have to sell anymore. I guess the platform has now become much more higher. The canvas has become so much more larger. I'll quote my mom on this, and success, she says, is a matter of good fortune and great luck. accomplishment is what you have control over. Accomplishment is what you do of 18 hours of your waking hours, that you make of the time, the opportunity and the talent God has given you. I think the stage we are now as a nation, as the youth of this nation, is we are ready to go places. We've always been. It's just that the world has now sat up and said, oh my God, we have critical mass to tell a story now.
There we take a quick break. Another young achiever coming up right after this. Stay with us. You're watching CNBC TV 18.